Hello again. So, unfortunate news, although I kind of expected this to happen. ASAP Rocky has delayed Don't Be Dumb. Originally, the release date was August 30th. Now it doesn't even have a concrete release date anymore. Now it's being pushed all the way to the fall. So, who knows what day that is. But it has been over 6 years since ASAP Rocky dropped a project. And while we don't have a project from Rocky dropping this week, luckily and thankfully, this is probably actually a really smart move. Even though Big Sean delayed his project for a couple of weeks, now he is planning to drop on August 30th. And now, since there was a lot of people, a lot of eyes looking forward to August 30th, I think a lot of eyes are going to gravitate now towards Big Sean, who hasn't dropped a project in almost 4 years. So you're at least getting an artist that is highly anticipated, and it's been a little while since they dropped. But again, it has been over 6 years since ASAP Rocky dropped Testing, which has a critic score of a 67 and a user score of a 70. Mixed reception at the time, but I feel like it has grown for a lot of people to be underrated. And I remember my first few listens with the project, and I can safely say, and it's a hot take probably, it's my favorite Rocky project for how experimental, how fun, how really interesting the album is mixed. Like the bass just sounds incredible and so deep in the mix. Overall, just have some of my favorite songs from the decade. You have Brotherman, you have Buckshots, you have Purity with Frank Ocean. There is so many interesting and fun and really left field kind of songs on this project that made the album just really fun and interesting to me at the time. But again, it has been 2,289 days since we've seen a project. Now, there has been, especially the past couple of years, it feels, there has been features dropped everywhere, and you get little sprinkles of singles that seem like they were building up to something, but then they just kind of whimper out into nothing. I can think of DMB. I can think of Same Problems. I can think of Shitting Me, even though it was part of a Need for Speed soundtrack. I felt like there was something to that. And then you have the new single, Hijack, with Jessica Pratt. Still, all of these songs, I think, are fun. They're creative. They're experimental. There's also the one with Pharrell Williams, Rowdy Pipin'. All these songs are really cool and interesting, and each song almost felt like there was directions going with these singles leading into projects. And I don't know if it's because maybe they're not being received all that well, that we just keep resetting into different sounds. I really don't know what's happening with this project, but it just seems like it's just been in this cycle of turmoil for the past 6 years. And I remember, I think it's like 2 or 3 years ago, that ASAP Rocky said that the album was 95% complete. And I have a feeling that that album that was 95% complete doesn't even exist anymore, or has been cast aside to work on a newer kind of sound or a new template altogether. I wouldn't be surprised if this album has been scrapped 2 or 3 times throughout the past 6 years. And it kind of goes into a conversation of how long do you wait for an artist? Like, you're still going to care when that artist releases, but it's the same thing that I talked about in my album rollout video, which I'm going to link down below in the description. But you wait so long to the point where either expectations get so astronomically high, or you wait so long where people start to not care as much. And when I'm really thinking about it, a few examples that I can think of off the top of my head, Baby Keem, I felt like was supposed to drop something either this year or possibly early into next year. And I'm trying to think in my head, it's just like I'm really not listening to Baby Keem anymore at the moment because it's just been so long. I'm just kind of waiting, or it's just I'm kind of like nothing's happening. So what am I supposed to do? There gets to a point for myself, it's very personal for me. But when an album or an artist just doesn't drop for a long period of time, sometimes I really just stop listening to that artist altogether. Now, there's some exceptions, like I was saying in the other video. If you drop an incredible masterpiece of a project, you can wait as long as you want. Sampha was a great example. Frank Ocean was a great example there as well. Even Travis Scott, even though it was teased over and over and over again, I still had Astroworld, I still had Rodeo, And now I have Days Before Rodeo as an example, Two Birds on the Trap as well. But it gets to a point where you wait so long and you just kind of, the artist just falls out of your rotation. Playboy Cardi with music as an example, even though he was dropping Instagram singles and he's constantly teased that the album is dropping over and over and over and over again. You wait so long, and for me, it comes to the point where either I just lose interest or my expectations now are going to be so sky high that they're not going to be met. So going into this project with Don't Be Dumb, and the producer list is like 20 plus people. So I don't know what to expect with this project still. Again, it's been 2,289 days, and I just kind of picked a random day kind of around October of when fall kind of begins. So I picked October 25th because it's a Friday, and it'd be 2,345 days for a project that doesn't even have a concrete release date in the fall. So I'm going to be brutally honest. I don't even know if it's going to even drop in the fall. I think we'll probably not get it until maybe the spring or summer of next year. And it kind of changed my perspective now because obviously ASAP Rocky is a father, I believe, of 2 kids now. And I've had experiences myself where I want to come downstairs and I want to record a video, but obviously with my daughter, I can't do that. So I can understand, especially being a new parent, that you're not going to dedicate time into certain endeavors, especially with music. ASAP Rocky is doing fine financially, obviously. So he has all the time that he needs to with his family, with his kids, with his wife, of course, Rihanna, of course. So I can kind of understand how this kind of album cycle has just been a stop and start and stop and start, because Rocky's life is constantly evolving. And as much as I'm disappointed and as much as I really want this album to release, it kind of just comes into perspective that's just like other things matter. Other things are more important than just putting music out and appeasing fans and all this kind of stuff. There's so much more to life than that. So, as well, as much as I am disappointed, as much as I am crushed, I'm still looking forward to the project, but I haven't listened to Rocky in a very long time. Besides the singles that have been dropping, even they haven't been really sitting in my rotation. I'm just really hoping this project is good, and I'm hoping that we get it at some point. But at this point, I think me anticipating projects is just a losing effort because I think it's a rule of diminishing returns at this point. But what are your thoughts on the album getting delayed? This is more of a rant video. This is more of a conversation. There wasn't really anything concrete or cohesive about this thing. But what are your thoughts of the album getting delayed? Are you excited for the Big Sean project? I very much am. Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you again very soon.